Hi everyone, my name is Bright Benson and you are welcome to RVS Educational Channel. Okay, so today, actually all this time, wherever what time you are right now in the world, so I'm bringing this video to us to watch and to glean some things from. Now, because like my custom is, I love watching videos. I love value, okay? Anything that really will make me get better. And I believe every thriving educator will tow that path of wanting to learn something more. So I got to this video by Prince. And when he mentioned some certain things, and that really got me thinking, right? So this challenged me to, think as if there's no box. We get to hear that, oh, think out of the box and all of that. So challenging me to, really, really think critically, to look at how I could improve my, my learning experience as I learning and teaching experience in the class, as how do I get my learners to become better at what they're doing. Are we really meeting their style of learning? Are we really making the class really not boring? Something like that will really get them to want to be eager to want to learn, right? So one of the things I'm going to be sharing some points, and I'm going to share the video. I will just share the videos to some of us, to us, so that we can listen to these videos. Draw your conclusion, take notes. Yes, I would suggest you take notes. You can get your notes and take some notes like I've done. I did some writing. I had to, because of the video here, I had to put this in Flash, writing flashcards, and I had to get this. One of the questions it has: do you prepare students for the future? Right? Do we prepare students for the future? We have, has our class really transitioned? Now, talking about are we really preparing our students for the future? It talks about really gaining knowledge. Well, he didn't mention so much about it. He was just, trying to get us to really think that, okay, so if you're looking at this kind of phone that we're using in like 10 years ago or 20 years ago compared to the kind of phones we use, I think he mentioned about cars, how cars has really evolved. Today we're talking about the electric cars and all of that, but then the cars was really heavy duty, a whole lot of things. If you trace back to history, from Carl Benz, the inventors and all of that down up until now, it has really evolved and changed. But you know what? The class itself, that for me, that got me like, boom. The class, has it really changed? Is it the conventional way that we're teaching that we still have in our classes, where students sit in rows, we give multiple questions, we mark them, oh, they are filled and all of that? Are these not somehow that indirectly, should I say, conditioning and programming their mind? Okay, so does class have to be that? So those are very important questions he asked that got me really thinking. I thought to share it to us as our class really transitioned. This is one of it that piqued my attention. As our class really transitioned, are we just okay? So if you're a teacher, this is a challenge right now. You're in class, are you always just within the row as the row is? Whereas if you say, there are different kind of furniture in the classes, right? So, or props, different things that we use in the class. Are we trying to innovate around the class? Yes, it's in rows, or can we turn it into a U and L shape or something? Or can we put into collaborative ways of learning and so on and so forth? Yeah, there are some schools who are practicing this, but it's something that is not, the alarm, there's power in repetition. So the alarm has to go woo so that we can know that this is very important. What we do, how we design our classes, how we coordinate our classes as the the educator, the leader, chief leader in our classes, would influence these children in the long run. So is it making them spark creativity? Are they looking at you and picking one or two things? So that's one. That's the second. And one of the things he also mentioned, prescribing same prescription for the same illness. Now this is it. Prescribing same prescription for the same illness. Do you get that? Prescribing same prescription for the same illness. So someone is actually having a kind of heart attack or something. Someone is having fever, or someone is having fractured or something. Just all kinds. We have all kinds of illnesses. A running stomach, headache, and all of that. I'm giving an instance. Would you prescribe a particular drug for all? No. So that means I believe we're flowing together. So that means that we should not administer the same thing to all of the children, all of them, because they are peculiar with their learning styles and how they learn. And I mean, that's just what it is, how they learn. We are not now, this is not even just to educators, right? To a collective, even to a school. Now, when we are sitting down and strategizing in our executive boards, or when we're thinking about the children, isn't really narrowing down to the learners and looking at how we can differentiate possibly, or how to meet these needs. It's not just about meeting up with the curriculum. We'll get to this curriculum later on, because he mentioned something like that, and that got me thinking. Okay, so so when we are strategizing in our boards, when we are sitting as executive and trying to get one or two things together, implementing, integrating, and overhauling, so to speak, are we really preparing these children for what it is now? I mean, what the world really needs now. So another one he mentioned that I wrote in my card here: teachers should earn as doctors. Oh my, I mean, that's just what it is. Much more or equally. I mean, just pay them well. Now, there's something that's a power. I mean, these are things we're going to be talking about over time in this channel. We'll be talking about a few things just to equip ourselves, and as an educator, how you can be better, but teachers should earn as doctor. I mean, so he mentioned something about the heart. Okay, as an analogy, man, this is just, I mean, this is one of the coolest stuff I've listened to in recent time, right? So he mentioned about the heart. As much as the doctor, that's the ones in charge of all of the heart thing and making sure that people are fine. Same thing, we should think about an educator as one who is in the heart, trying to adjust the mind, trying to get the mind of a child to become better. It takes a whole lot. As a teacher, you wear a lot of caps. It's just a whole lot of caps, just to make sure that things are done properly, looking at all the children, making sure that they're becoming better, and they're really prepared for what is ahead of them. Okay, so then of course it started with a word where fish are not forced to climb. I mean, I want to talk about this later on. Okay, so he spoke about the curriculum is made by policymakers who have not touched the chalk. I mean, hey, so this is actually to policymakers, right? Okay, so our politicians and so on and so forth. If there's anyone being drafted into the educational space that wants to really give, let's say they are sitting down and deciding the future of the learners, right? It should be people who have felt the pain of learning. In quotes now, those who are in the midst of it, that understand, that have had the experience. Okay, not necessarily someone who's by title a policy maker, but someone who has hands-on experience in terms, who has the heartbeat and understands what all of the cases, most of the intricacies from experience of the educational space, so that policies that are made cuts across to educators, cuts across to learners, and of course, generally speaking, it influences the nation, right? Influences the nation, and it gives a feedback. It gives like a positive big bang, so to speak, to the world, right? So policies are very, very vital. So if we're picking anyone or we're making policies now, policymakers now, these are very important. Even in our educational spaces, respective ones, whoever that is making those policies, let it be the person who is good for the job, who is good for the job from experience and from track record, right? So a world where fish are not forced to climb in the class. So are you an educator who's really, really preparing children to thrive? Even this is also a question for parents to think about. Are we identifying the strengths of those children? Are we nurturing them towards that strength? And why we complement with other things that we want them to become better? Because these things are very important for the future. So I think you just listen to the video and hey, my goodness, I hope that you gain value. That's the core in RVS educational space. We hope that you get value for every content, every analysis, and anything that we talk about. So thank you. So we'll see in another video, right? Possibly we could just do something value packed. Bye for now. Don't forget your notes, take your notes, write, glean, learn, and keep thriving. Bye for now.
Albert Einstein once said, "Everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish? Swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement, and if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it.
Proceed.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today, and here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today, and here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your language.
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens, this educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid? No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest, teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid, but a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, cause that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days, teachers make a decent wage, homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving, because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe. A world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I rest my case.